WUMS University, Oxford.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Roommate Podcast. I'm Lucy.
And I'm Jacey. Today, we're talking about something a little more serious. Well, let me not say serious, because every week we talk about something that's serious. Today, we're talking about burnout.
Specifically, burnout as a college student.
Yeah, honestly. Burnout is something that I've personally struggled with for I don't even know how long. I experienced it a lot in high school, imagine that. And unfortunately, it's now something that's plaguing me in college as well.
Yeah.
And Lucy doesn't really struggle with burnout. Can you explain why
yeah.
you don't?
Let me preface everything I say by saying that I don't experience burnout in the same way that Jacey does. I think that there are different levels to burnout, but it's very uncommon for me to experience burnout because normally I do have a perfectionist personality, and that usually leads to me procrastinating anything and everything, especially schoolwork, which is not good at all. But because I'm extremely late to starting things in fear of how it will turn out, it is extremely hard for me to create new habits. But once I do create those new habits, I'm on a roll. And, I'll tell this little story real quick. In the first, I want to say, 3 weeks of college, it was just smooth sailing. I wasn't really too worried about my schoolwork, and it showed. It really did. And I kind of just had this oh no moment of, okay, you need to make studying a habit, make your schoolwork a priority, and get back on top of this. And oftentimes, I'm so late to starting something that it can have a really negative impact on me, and I think that did happen with college at first, but as I've learned how to prioritize things, I just really haven't experienced burnout because I did take those first few weeks to kind of slack off.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, which this is not necessarily a good thing, but I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but sometimes I tend to get a little bit, what's the word? I just told somebody this the other day, and now I don't remember. I get a bit addicted to the chaos of procrastination because I tend to work well under pressure, but I realize that's something I'm going to have to change about myself. But yeah, there's my little speech about how I experience burnout.
So you're saying that you have this sort of habitual mindset you stray towards, and that's what keeps you out of burnout?
Yeah.
Okay. See, you said something about you took the first couple of weeks of college to kind of slack off, and it's not like you hit the ground running, which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been going 100% nonstop for 2 straight months now.
Yeah.
And it's caught up to me, which is why for the past 2 weeks, probably, I've started feeling this burnout. And this is another one of those episodes where you're going to hear us say the word burnout 1,000 times. I feel like my inspiration was just zapped from me.
Okay.
Lucy can probably attest to this. For the first month and a half, I guess, it was like I was walking on clouds.
Yeah.
And there was so much inspiration and motivation lying inside of me, and then it just went away.
Yeah.
And that's how my burnout personally operates, is that I'm totally fine, and then I just get so exhausted that I don't have the motivation anymore, and I can't find my inspiration. And I was thinking about maybe coming on here today and acting like everything was fine and I was so motivated and I had all this inspiration still. But after a chat with my mom, thank you, Mom, I decided that that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't want to promote some fictitious version of myself that's not present right now.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping it real.
And I love that.
Thank you.
And with your burnout, it begins to not only affect you mentally but physically, because
It does.
I can see the changes in your attitude.
Yeah, and that's why I think this is such an important topic, because it affects everything.
Yeah.
It does. And I've been trying really hard to crawl out of this burnout, and there are specific things that I'm doing to try and get out of it quicker, but this isn't going to be like the other episodes where we're giving you tips and tricks and advice on how to better yourself and all that. This is more of a, okay, this is an issue. I'm personally experiencing this issue right now. These are things I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you how it's affected me for the better.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this isn't me complaining or trying to be ungrateful, because I recognize how big of a blessing it is to be here at college, and it's not some ungrateful mindset I've adopted. It's more of this, I'll say it again, burnout. That's just sort of, I don't know, followed me like this, like an air about me, I guess, that
Yeah.
I'm just tired.
Well, it's so good that you can recognize that too.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm glad that I can pinpoint what it is, and I know what it is, and I know myself, so I know that I need to be gentle with myself. A lot of times in burnout, people will be so sick and tired of being sick and tired, and so they just get mad at themselves, and they start to kind of internalize some really bad things. So that's why I really want to speak about this today, is because that's the number one thing that you don't need to do, is be mean to yourself. So
you need to find outlets.
Yeah, exactly. One of the first things that I've honestly started doing more recently that I found is really helpful for me is knocking out my work earlier in the day, so I'm less stressed and I have more time to attribute towards my hobbies later on in the day. So I'll give an example. I have an 11 o'clock class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is later in the day. It's no 8 a.m. Thank you, Jesus. So I've kind of been taking that time for granted. I've been sleeping in, and I'm sure I know I've spoken about how I need to wake up earlier and take advantage of the day and all that. And I have been doing that. And it's a push. It's hard, but me waking up earlier and giving myself some time to actually eat breakfast and digest breakfast instead of shoveling things into my mouth as I'm walking out the door.
Yeah.
That's not really good.
Yeah.
But I've been doing that, and so this is a really weird example. I'm sorry I'm talking about food, but after my class, I'm not hungry. And I'm saying that because usually I'll go to lunch, or I'll go back to my dorm for lunch. So because I'm full after my breakfast, which is a cinnamon roll, yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it's okay. I'm going to talk about that later, too, so don't you worry.
Okay. Stay tuned.
But, yeah, after class, I'm not hungry, and so I don't have to go to lunch yet, so I go to the library. Or I find a little spot, and I do my work. I do my math work, and I study a little bit, and you know what? When it hits 9 p.m., I'm not stressed out, because I've already done my work for the day, and that takes a load off of my shoulders. It really does.
And that ties into our other points, about self-discipline and
Absolutely,
self-care.
yeah.
It can make you feel so much better.
Yeah, and, I'm not sitting here saying that it's easy, because when you don't have any motivation and you can't really find that inspiration within yourself to tackle your work, it is extremely difficult to do the thing and get your work done and care about getting your work done. But I'm telling you, it helps so much. And like I said, this is something that I've recently began doing, like last week maybe. But it has really helped in tremendous ways. And that leads me into my next tip, which is focusing more on your hobbies. So
I think we discussed this a bit in our previous episode.
yeah, we did. The importance of maintaining your hobbies in college is really important. And you said something earlier about, you know, you were slacking off, not to bring that up again, of course, but I personally kind of abandoned my hobbies because it was school, and in the midst of it all, I forgot I was a person, and I forgot that I had a life outside of school because, and you know, not to be dramatic either, but I think that living on campus and being surrounded by college all the time can kind of contribute to burnout, because it's like, okay, at all hours of the day, I could be doing something productive because I am on campus and there's so many outlets that I could, or not outlets, but, what's the word?
I would say outlets.
Outlets
Yeah.
that you can...
Or resources.
Yeah, resources, that's the word I'm looking for. There's so many resources right at the tip of my fingers that I can use, and I feel bad just sitting in the dorm room and taking time for myself. And I
Yeah.
know you felt that way as well. It's difficult to be a person sometimes when all you're focused on is your schoolwork.
Yeah.
So I've spoken about this before as well. My favorite pastime is reading.
Didn't you used to read like 100 books a year?
So yes, I did.
That's just so crazy to me.
Last year, this is not a brag, not trying to be braggadocious, but I read 117 books last year. Yes, I did.
Miss Fizz, did you hear that?
So I've been reading a lot, and you know what? It's helping so much. I think it's the act of getting away from something unrelated to school and kind of being in this separate world for a bit. It does something. And even if you're not a reader, I'd say that reading just calms your mind.
Yeah.
And if you need book recommendations, please DM me at theroommate.pod on Instagram.
Please DM her. She loves to give her book
I
recommendations.
do. I have a lot of good ones. not to be braggadocious, but
Going off of that, I love how you mentioned that reading is an outlet for you to kind of combat burnout, because I've sort of realized that growing up, I was, you know, this extreme introvert. I had a lot of social anxiety. I would literally sit upstairs in my room all the time, and I wouldn't really force myself to get out and experience things. And sometimes I look back at that, and obviously you can't change the past, but sometimes I do look back and think, I wish I would have tried this or done that. And I really think that is a way, that's a fairly new way that I am, you know, I'm using that to, well, not that. I'm trying to think of how to put it. Basically, I'm trying to force myself outside of my comfort zone when it comes to making new friends, hanging out with people, just saying yes on a whim just because. And I really think that is what has helped me, similar to how reading has helped you, is, you know, it just makes me feel so much better about myself, and I have so much confidence when I really force myself out of the dorm room and I experience things in Oxford and, you know, at Ole Miss, and it really does. I feel like that is what helps me.
Yeah, that's wonderful
Thank
as
you.
well. I feel like I'm on a completely different layer than you're on because contrary to what you're saying about getting out and how that's helping you, I feel like I've been out so much, and I'll admit I am kind of a hermit. Not kind of. I am a hermit. If you see me in one of those glasses at Alvin's Island in Destin, Florida, please mind your business. I'm in my natural habitat.
That's great.
But yeah, I think that I've been out so much to the point where I forgot how much I treasure alone time.
Yeah.
So when I go home, I kind of hole up in my room with my cat Ziggy. Love you, Zig. And yeah, I'm like, wow, this is great. I miss doing this. I can do that now still.
Yeah.
You know, I can have my hobbies, and I can put intentional time towards my hobbies and kind of allow my brain not to be in work mode for a while.
Yeah. Isn't it funny to you how we can experience the same thing in completely different ways?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
sort
that
of
is
like
funny.
it's sort of like we talked about before, you know, we're so similar but we're also so different.
Yeah.
And I
we
think
are.
a lot of times when people, you know, meet us or when they're around us for a while, they think, "Oh, they're, you know, so similar."
Yeah.
But really, I mean, yes, we're similar, but we're also extremely different in
We
how we
are.
handle things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes people will meet us for like the fourth time and say, okay, I forgot. Which one's Lucy and which one's Jacey?
Yeah.
So we have to remind them, Jacey's the one with the brown hair, Lucy's the one with the... sorry, what's your hair color?
Blonde?
It's like a strawberry blonde.
Yeah. It was red when I was like really young,
Uh,
but it just kind of became blonde.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I also, going back to my first thing that's helping me, which is tackling my work before it's late in the day and directly after class, my brain is already in work mode. It knows that it needs to focus and be attentive to my lectures. And so doing work directly after class, my brain doesn't have to spend the extra energy of shifting back into work mode hours later because I'm already in work mode.
Yeah.
And so that gives me more time to really focus my attention on my hobbies later in the day because I don't have to worry about working. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about shifting my mindset, which is a big stressor when you're experiencing burnout, is shifting your mindset back and forth.
Yeah.
Let us move on to, what is this? The third one?
Yes.
The third one. So this is something that I spoke on a little bit earlier, but prioritizing alone time.
Yes.
I mean, I think that we both gain a lot from alone time because
Yeah.
we're, I guess I'd call us big internal people.
Yeah, we process things internally.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I'm alone, I feel like my brain breathes a sigh.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, nothing against you, of course, but I am an only child,
Yeah.
and so I'm not used to constantly sharing a space with somebody, and
Right.
so caring for myself by spending time alone is really important to me. And that's not something that I've realized until recently either, because you've been going out more and I've been staying in more.
Yeah.
And it's making me realize, okay, it's definitely curing something in me
Yeah.
to be alone right now and to, maybe just sit on the floor and chill out.
Yeah. I think that is so important, but I feel like I'm sort of having an opposite experience with that almost because growing up, I had 3 younger siblings and, sometimes it was just all go, and do and no rest. And it became really hard for me to find alone time. So, towards my senior year of high school, we'll be right back. We have a commercial break.
When a person calls 988, they're connected to a crisis counselor.
Crisis is completely self-defined. If you're wondering if you should call, you should probably call.
A caller can expect to talk about coping skills, talk about resources, and ways to move forward beyond the call.
Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
This message is brought to you by Contact the Crisis Line, Contact Helpline, Mississippi Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
We're
Anyway.
back. What was I saying? Right.
Senior year of high school, go, go, go.
Yes. So senior year of high school was when I really became used to that alone time because, my siblings were at a different school than I was. I got out of school early, and I just had so much time every day, to make time for myself. And also over the summer and when I first came here, and I sort of realized that I was making too much time for myself.
Okay,
And
interesting.
yeah, I think I maybe fell into this minor depression because, obviously it is really good to have time for yourself and to, make that time intentional.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, sometimes it gets to the point of laziness. And I feel like that also really contributes to my social anxiety is when I go such long periods of time without ever, forcing myself to have those social interactions and those relationships.
That's a wonderful point because something I did want to add was that whereas something that's helping me is spending time alone and prioritizing that solitude almost, other people might actually suffer from being alone and need to surround themselves with other people and other people's perspective and mindsets. And don't get me wrong, that's something that does help me too, but in different situations.
Yeah.
I think I'm at the level of burnout where when I'm alone in my room, it feels like I'm at Disneyland. Because I get to have my nightly routine, and I get to make a tea, and I get to have my ice water.
Right.
I like liquids. And I get to sit in my bed with my Wuzu fan on blast, and I get to read my book. And that's something that brought me a lot of peace when I was in high school, and returning to that level of peace has helped me a lot. But I totally get needing to be around people and having those important interactions. I totally get it. And I agree.
I didn't think that I was one of those people, and I might not be one of those people. It might just be a season of life I'm in, but I've just found it so helpful to be around other college students lately, which really surprises me, because normally I'm not a people person. I don't like other people's company, but as time goes on, I've realized that those relationships are very important to me.
They are. They're so important. And I will say, even if you're in burnout, don't abandon those important relationships. You know, keep going to your organizations, keep making the time for your friends, and check up on your friends. That is so important too. I personally, something that I do is I sort of take a step back from people, and I'll start to push people away because that's my almost coping mechanism, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to do that this time, which has helped.
Wonderful.
Another thing that has been helping me recently is getting ready for bed early.
Okay.
This kind of goes in with my alone time, but I mentioned that I'll do my nightly routine, which I did my nightly routine at, 9:30 last night.
Which is extremely early for you.
It's extremely early for me, but I was sort of And this is embarrassing, but I was just sort of dancing around in my room, and I was like, you know what? I'll just have a shower.
Yeah.
And I'll just have my night routine. And it brought me so much serotonin to just get ready for bed. And putting that time towards myself really helped a lot. But yeah, as a night owl, this is a tough one, but especially when Lucy's in and she also has to get ready for bed and we're sharing this small space. But be intentional with getting ready for bed early because, I mean, even if you're a night owl like myself, it's hard to accept that getting in bed early does actually help.
I feel like that's one of those things, once again, that we're sort of opposites on, you know, because I'm not a night owl. So your early is my late. But I really do agree with the whole getting ready for bed early because personally, even if it's not, you know, even if it's not as early as you, I do love to get ready for bed early, like you said, and have that time to sit in my bed and decompress from the day and read my book, or I'm just going to be honest here, scroll through Instagram Reels.
Yeah, we know you love to do that.
Because sometimes I just need a little laugh before I go to bed.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also gives your brain that chance to, I feel like, not to get off track, but I feel like when you're in burnout, your brain does have a harder time adjusting because you don't have as much emotional energy to kind of spend on stuff like shifting from work mode to relaxation mode. So getting ready for bed at an earlier time that you normally would can help your brain to recognize, okay, I can actually rest and relax now.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Absolutely. This is time for me. Yeah, that's something that is surprisingly helpful, though. One thing, a big thing, that my mom suggested I start doing is writing down things that I'm grateful for.
Ooh.
This is something that you do, isn't it, Lucy?
I've been really bad about it lately, but I want to say either we discussed it in our room the other day or we discussed it on the podcast. I really don't remember, but
it blends together these days.
Yeah, it does. I mean, but yeah, anyway, I have this gratitude journal that I got from Anthropology.
Love Anthropology.
And I got it so long ago. But I love it. It's so fun. So go check out Anthropology's little gratitude journals.
Sponsor us, please.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like a easy way to establish that thankfulness.
Yeah, I feel like focusing on things that you're grateful for, and this doesn't have to be throughout the day. Like if something, let's say you trip and you fall down the steps at Farley Hall. Well, that's terrible, and I'm so sorry that happened to you, and you're allowed to be upset about that. Because imagine you have a coffee in your hand, and now it's dripping down your shirt, and it's cold outside now, so you're freezing. You have a right to be upset about that. And so you don't have to stand there and be like, you know what? At least I'm breathing. You know?
Sorry, this is a very specific example.
This is something
is it
that
a personal
I fear.
experience?
Well, no.
Okay.
I haven't fallen down the steps of Farley, but I've fallen down steps before, and it's a big fear of mine because if you've been in Farley, you know that the steps are extremely steep.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I think, this is the day that I'm going to bust it. Yeah, this is it. Sorry for the vivid details. It's just, yeah, I'm fearful of that. It's Halloween. Let's admit our fears. I'm fearful of falling down the steps of Farley.
Gotcha.
But yeah, don't be unrealistic with it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, you're allowed to have those moments where you're just like, gosh, this sucks.
Yeah.
It's okay to be realistic about that, but having a moment, perhaps at the end of the day, perhaps at the beginning, perhaps in between, maybe after you've finished listening to this week's new episode of the Roommate Podcast. Who said that? Yeah, just sitting down and being intentional with remembering and understanding everything that you're grateful for is really helpful. And it doesn't have to be this long list that you write out every single night. You know,
Yeah.
you can think about it. You can pray about it. There are certain ways to go about this.
I feel like it also just helps you to have a more positive mindset overall
Absolutely.
because it trains your brain to think about the good things that are happening
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, and that can... Okay, let me go back to my example of falling down the steps of Farley. Let's say that you're in a burnout mindset and your first reaction is, oh my gosh, I hate this. This is so stupid. You know, this shouldn't have happened to me, yada, yada, yada. I get that. I would be mad too. But once you've sort of started focusing on what you're grateful for, you can kind of take a step back, I guess, and your first thought could be, you know, at least I'm breathing right now. I don't know. Yeah. It depends on how in-depth you go into your gratefulness and what you're grateful for.
Yeah. Love that.
One thing that has been helping me beyond measure, and they're going to be excited I say this, but calling my parents.
Shout out to Jacey's parents.
Yes. I think I've already given them a shout out this episode.
Oh, oops.
It's okay. They can have
well,
multiple.
they can have a shout out from you and a shout out from me.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, whether, you know, this is sort of extremely personal to me because I'm somebody who is very close with her parents. I've mentioned I'm an only child, so, you know, they're stuck with me. And they're glad for it, too.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but I realize that I am extremely blessed to have parents who I can call 24/7 about anything, and they're there for me.
Yeah.
And something that I really respect of them is that they have, you know, they've done the college thing, maybe in a different way that I'm doing college, but they have this wiser mindset that I don't really have yet because, and my dad will think this is funny, my frontal lobe is not fully developed yet.
We have had at least 3 conversations about our frontal lobes developing.
It is so important. Look into it, please. I'm infatuated by it. I truly am.
Yeah, Jacey says she can feel her frontal lobe developing.
I can.
All right.
I can feel it. It's like a physical shift. Anyway, I don't think you'll understand. I'm 5 months older than you, so that's probably why you'll understand.
Maybe so. Maybe I'll understand.
You'll understand. You'll understand in December, because in December when my birthday is, that's 5 months from May when your birthday. Wait, right?
I don't know.
Yes, I was correct on my math. Yay.
Hooray.
But yeah, you'll understand in December. Talk to me then.
All right.
Don't sass me right now.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, calling my parents is so helpful for me because they can offer me different perspectives on situations I'm going through and, you know, the burnout that I feel because they've experienced it firsthand as well. And yeah, calling them just gives me a big peace of mind, and I understand that this doesn't really apply to everyone, and
yeah,
so I do just want to put that out there that I know that I am blessed to have that. But you know, maybe if you haven't spoken to your parents in a while and you're going through something, give them a call. I don't know.
I love that you mentioned that because, you know, I come from a big family, and a lot of times it's just second nature to me to want to handle everything by myself and be super independent to the point where it can almost be unhealthy. And sometimes I have to realize, okay, your parents are here to help you, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that I am slowly starting to learn.
That's good. And I know we said earlier how we have different experiences, or we have the same experiences, but we process them in different ways. Is that what we said? Something like that. I feel the same way because, you know, I have a small family and I grew up an only child.
Yeah.
How many times have I said that today? But I feel like I'm a very independent person too, and I similarly want to handle things by myself. Yet it's something that I'm coming to terms with of, hey, I don't have to do everything alone. And
Yeah.
I'd be a lot less stressed if I realized that. And we'll get to the next step after
our
this
commercial
quick
break.
commercial break.
Hey y'all, my name is Paul Winfield, and I'm the host of Reverb, a podcast about how we associate memories with music. Please join me on Mondays at 12 p.m. See you then.
We are back.
Hello.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't remember. It's been a long day.
Hey, valid. So, yeah, the next... I'll just end it at that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, the next thing is something that can seem minute, but is actually really helpful, and that is appreciating the weather.
Ooh, OMG. Ew, sorry. I don't know why I said that. Sorry to interrupt you. That
No,
is one
please.
of my favorite things to do because I feel like I've mentioned in previous episodes, the weather really does have a large effect on my mood for the day. And I love to just look outside and, see the cloudless sky and feel the breeze in the air. It just brings me so much happiness.
And that's wonderful that you recognize that.
Thank
because
you.
I feel like when we get so busy and we get so burnt out, it's really difficult to step outside and be like, this nice breeze on my face. You just don't really stray towards that mindset. But this can also tie into my other step of being grateful and, being intentional about the things that you are grateful for, because it's a big thing. Sorry, why are you dancing in your seat?
I don't know. Like I've said, it's been a long day.
Okay. Moving on.
Apologies.
No,
Continue.
you're good. Let me just catch my train of thought after I see you boogieing in your seat, having a little jive. Okay.
Yep.
But, yeah, I found that when I kind of slip into a still moment and really steep myself in that moment, I feel this shred of inspiration coming back towards me.
I love that word, little shred of inspiration.
Thank you.
Love
Because
that.
it's not large, unfortunately, but it's something. It's just this little spark that goes off.
Yeah.
And it has something to do with the weather.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you haven't today, maybe go outside and appreciate the weather. I don't know what the weather is like where you're at, but here in Oxford, it's like 66 degrees. We've prayed for these times.
Yeah. Jacey, what is your absolute favorite type of weather? If you could pick the perfect day as far as the weather goes.
What we're having now, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
What we're having now, and then let's see, what time does it get dark now? Around 7:30?
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier, because I
I'd
know
say 6:37.
Yeah, the time's about to change, so it's earlier. But I'd say around 7:30, it starts storming. No comment?
What?
It starts storming.
Storming. Oh, okay, sorry. You're talking about your perfect day.
Rain. Yeah. Did you think I went back to...
I don't know. So you like when it's sunny in the daytime, it's kind of chilly outside, and then towards the evening when it gets darker, it starts to storm.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I personally am not a fan of the rain at all.
Oh.
Yeah, I love a sunny, cloudless day, the weather at a good 70. Yeah, that's my ideal weather.
Well, I say rain because raining is perfect reading weather. That's a hill I'm ready to fight for. But another thing that I'm doing to help myself out of this burnout is not feeling guilty for sweet treats.
Ooh,
and I'm very strong on that point because I always feel guilty for a Shadrack's during the day or a cinnamon roll for breakfast. And I'm not saying just abandon your health, but I am saying, hey, if you want to go have something that brings you joy and motivates you a little bit, my gosh, go do it.
Yeah, it's not such a big deal to the point where you should bully yourself about it.
Yeah, and I've been really hard on myself about, oh my gosh, I don't need to drink as many Sour Patch Kiddo Shadrack's drinks during the week because, gosh, that's just bad for me and yada, yada, yada. And I had this conversation with my mom, and she was like, just go get you one, get yourself one. It makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait. Here's an example of her wise mindset. It makes you happy, so do it.
Yeah.
If you want a
Love
sweet
that.
treat, go get you a sweet treat.
Please.
Do it right now.
All right, moving on.
One of the last things I have that has been helping me is keeping a tidy space so my chore list that I keep in my mind doesn't build up and I'm not so stressed about it. Keeping a tiny space clean is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
and
it is.
It's been a stressor for me since day one of living here. And I found that instead of, let's say, the dishes piling up, when I'm done with my soup or something, I just clean my dishes right then and there. And you know what? When I get back from class, I don't have to clean my soupy dishes up.
And I feel like that's one of those things that is one of those ways in which we are extremely similar, is we both love a clean space. And I think we're so fortunate to be able to room together and, respect each other's space and keep everything super clean.
Yeah. Sometimes I do have to clean your forks after you eat pineapple.
Apologies.
It's okay. But see, that's one of the things. It's like, all right, let me just fix all this up really quick so I'm not stressed about it later. And it does help, setting aside an intentional time for doing laundry or having a little vacuum so you don't have to do this spring cleaning at once and you're stressed out about it. That is really helpful. Keeping a tidy space can help you to feel way less stressed.
Yeah, it can just make you feel like you're on top of things in your life.
Yeah, it's one thing that you can, without a doubt, have confidence in when you're having burnout.
And I think sometimes when I'm experiencing, procrastination, the main thing that I turn towards is cleaning my space.
Really?
Yeah, something about it just soothes my anxiety. I could think, oh, I have 3 assignments to do. I'm not really sure how to start the first one, so I'm just not going to do any of them. And then next thing I know, I'm picking up the vacuum cleaner, and then I'm mopping, and then I'm wiping down all the surfaces. It's like, okay, this is getting out of hand. So, yeah.
That's good, though. At least you don't procrastinate by going and getting a Shadrack
Right.
streak.
Oh.
I do that. But yeah, burnout is something very real. It's something that I think everybody has experienced, whether you're a college student, whether you're an adult in the working world. What's that like, by the way? Don't know yet.
Hashtag unemployed.
Hashtag we don't get paid for this. Love it though. But yeah, it's real, and it's something that I've known I wanted to speak about, but I didn't really want to speak about it until I was in it, and now I'm in it. And I'm having these things that I'm doing to kind of get myself out of that slowly but surely. I don't think that this burnout is going to go away until Thanksgiving break, when I have a full week to just attribute towards myself and what I want to do 24/7. But these are the steps that are helping me a little bit, and maybe if you are similarly experiencing burnout, they can help you as well.
And I feel like I'm not exactly experiencing burnout right now, but I feel like when I do experience it, we experience this in 2 different ways, So it's important to express that, yes, everybody can have the same issue, but not necessarily deal with it in the same way.
Absolutely. And maybe I'm just so particular in myself and maybe these are things that solely help me and me alone. But if you got anything from this episode and it wasn't help from the things that I said I'm doing to get me out of my burnout, know that you're not alone for feeling burnout.
Yeah.
We all experience it, maybe at different times. I feel like in the change of the seasons, I unfortunately do get a lot of burnout. It's just who I am and how I operate. But yeah, just know that it's normal. Know that it's okay to slow down a little bit and maybe make some more time for yourself or more time for going out if that's what helps you. But yeah, it's totally normal.
And the first step to this is recognizing that you feel this way.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
we both have.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is something that I wanted to address because I'm personally experiencing it myself right now. But
well,
just
thank you for sharing your story today.
Of course. I feel like a celebrity. Well, that is all that we have for you today. I do sincerely hope that you gained something out of this. And if you're not in burnout right now, maybe come back to this episode later and listen when you are in burnout, because I promise you that unfortunately it is going to happen to us all.
Oh, yeah.
At the most inopportune of times. Genuinely.
Here we go.
I love my word. I love my word. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We do have an Instagram. It's @theroommate.pod. Can you guess what I'm going to say next?
With 2 O's?
Yes, it has 2 O's.
And
yes,
2
it has 2
M's.
M's. We also have a YouTube, which you can find in our Instagram's bio. Thank you for listening.
Yes, we will see you guys next Wednesday on the Roommate Podcast.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.